This is the story of a man from New Zealand and a woman from England stuck in lockdown together in the city of London. This is day 18. Hello to you.
Hello to you.
For anyone who's wondering, we just thought it would be my go. For a moment, I thought genuinely people might think I'd killed him, but the ukulele playing gave it away.
I could teach you to play the ukulele.
You could. Yeah, let's do that. Then I can kill him.
You actually want to learn?
Have you got a spare one? I don't want to touch it if you've touched it, because I think you're ill.
Well, I might be ill. I don't know. Felt a little bit funny yesterday. Feel a little bit funny today.
Funny ha-ha, funny peculiar.
Never funny ha-ha. But yeah, feeling a little bit off colour, a little bit odd. Yeah, had a headache for a couple of days.
Oh dear. Yeah, headache's the first sign.
What are you going to do about it?
Quarantine you in the bathroom. Isolate you within the isolation zone.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Put on 3 sets of rubber gloves before I touch you.
It could come down to that.
Good.
Living in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be my new life.
Yeah. I did say I'd shut you in the downstairs loo, didn't I?
Ooh, it's colder than the fridge.
Yeah, I know, but it's warm now. I've turned the heating off.
What? Why would it be warmer in the downstairs toilet now that you've turned the heating off?
No, because it's got warmer. I have turned the heating off.
Oh,
because we were both sweaty last night, weren't we?
Wow. That may be because I was running a fever and may have been generally unwell.
Yeah, but I wasn't, and I was hot.
I've not slept at all well the last couple of nights. I've been...
staying up late watching crap on TV.
Not just any crap. WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, WrestleMania, they split into 2 parts this year, so I watched part 1 on Saturday night when I got home from work and couldn't sleep, and then last night when I couldn't sleep, I watched part 2. And yeah.
Okay. And did the story evolve? Were there arcs between the 2 episodes?
Not really between the 2 episodes. They were sort of independent of each other, I guess. But it was interesting because, you know, they don't have a crowd. So
yeah,
it was a
I
little
watched
bit
a little
peculiar.
bit of it. Yes, I watched a little bit of episode 1 at your insistence yesterday, and I thought it was weird as shit.
Yeah.
Without all of the people in the background going ooh and ooh and oh, the noises that the actual wrestlers make just sound really fake.
Yeah. So it was a bit weird, but yeah. I think part 2 was better than part 1. Yeah. I think they
saved the quality stuff for part 2, didn't they?
They stuffed around with some bits and pieces with the actual storytelling. So one of the things that they did to get away from, you know, the fact that there was no crowd is they had a really long backroom brawl, you know, where they go back through the building and they fight all over the building and they use all the implements from around the building. So they did that for, I don't even know how long, an hour? It felt like such a long time, although there was a big dodgy edit in the middle where like they fight off down a hallway and the camera guy gets knocked over and they've clearly had a rest and they've clearly had a drink and they've clearly stopped sweating, because when the cameraman, and I quote the commentators, catch up with them, they're suddenly a lot more sprightly, a lot less sweaty, and like it's just carrying on. So they clearly had a big rest in the middle.
Had their makeup touched up and so on.
Well, one of the guy's knee pads had completely come off, and he'd like pull it all. It had been pulled all the way back up into position. And like, come off, get your hand off it. Like, this is ridiculous. And one of the other matches that they had, I mean, I can't say that I've been actively following wrestling at all since the 80s. Yeah. So, but they had sort of a funhouse sketch. So they've got a character at the moment who has a funhouse kind of evil Pee-wee's Playhouse thing going on. Yeah.
That sounds a bit...
Yeah, but do you know who John Cena is?
No.
No. I saw John Cena wrestle in Qatar once.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was in Qatar and I had nothing to do. And
I saw Great Aunt Mabel at a barbecue in Chislehurst.
Yeah, but your great Aunt Mabel doesn't look like a condom full of walnuts.
Have you met her?
It was very peculiar to see him in real life with all his big old muscles and his little piddly little legs like hanging out the bottom. Like, it was very peculiar.
Did he forget leg day?
No, it was just kind of like he could hardly hold himself up as he kind of waddled to the ring. And
Okay.
But, you know, these guys are huge. They're genuinely massive. Anyway, he was fighting this guy who runs the Playhouse, and they did a whole lot of real crazy camera stuff. And heaps of... I thought it was quite interesting storytelling. I think they handled that part of the show quite well.
Okay.
And so that was interesting. Even if it wasn't, wrestling in any kind of traditional sense, because it was just a whole... it's just a big long vignette, story side thing. But it kind of worked, So, whatever.
Okay.
They did what they could in a difficult situation.
Yeah.
Although,
We're all in a difficult situation.
why the hell they ran it at all, I don't know, but they did it.
Essential activity. So, an interesting thing I've noticed on social media over the last 24 hours, and it's probably been going on longer than 24 hours, it's taken a while to filter through to me, is people seem to be blaming 5G for the coronavirus. And I just don't understand this at all. I just do not understand how you can get from something that's like electrons flowing through the universe or whatever in the sky to a biological virus spreading. It's like how would that first thing do the second thing?
Well, radio waves can do damage. They've had some. I don't know if I'm.
Yeah, I know. That's why we all use a headset when we talk on the phone and blah blah blah.
Well, yeah, radiation's bad, but but in terms of radio waves, I think they were. I don't know. I can't remember if this study was real or not. I should have checked it out, but they were crapping on about Wi-Fi killing the bark on trees or something like that. So. I don't know if that was real or not.
Yeah,
the
but
5G
that's
thing...
not generating a whole new virus and implanting it in the human race,
There's no way you can pin the virus on 5G. I mean, there might be issues around 5G because of the radio frequencies, because they're so tight and tiny and penetrating. And
one of my colleagues said that this theory was very popular amongst the youngsters.
It's very popular
teenagers,
amongst fucking idiots.
Well, yeah, that was what I was thinking. But I was thinking, they've only been out of school 3 weeks. Have they forgotten all the science?
They don't know science.
All the science ever that they've ever learned.
They don't teach that at school anymore.
Yeah, but do they not teach people to question things? I mean, that was a key part of my education. You look at the source. Is the source reliable? You look at, if it's just your mate's mum says they bumped into Sheila from the co-op and she said it was the 5G, doesn't mean you should go out and burn down a 5G mast. Especially if you don't know that it is a 5G mast. Well, there was some twat on the local Facebook page who said, "Oh, isn't it a coincidence? We're all locked in and then this 5G mast appears." And somebody replied underneath with "I don't think it is a 5G mast, and it hasn't just appeared because I had a car crash in 2008 and here it is in the photos." It's like, you fucking moron. And this is outside their house.
Yeah.
The original poster was looking at, taking a photo from out their window. It's like, how have you not noticed that in the last 10 years?
I think that with stuff like this, we've got a whole bunch of saps living on planet Earth right now who don't know what to blame for anything else, right? So it's easy enough to blame coronavirus on 5G because Trump's president. The whole world's fucking kooky. But there's this world of misinformation, and we shouldn't pretend like it hasn't been done on purpose. There's a whole, raft of actors who are currently out there to plant this kind of crap on the internet and support it and pay to support it and to spread it, because misinformation is key to, whatever their aims may be, which is disruption. So I read an interesting article yesterday about how the far right in the US are planning to make the most out of the current crisis to try and add more chaos because, they see it as an opportunity. Wankers just happen to be everywhere. The only thing you can try and do in this sort of post-fact reality where people don't seem to care about facts anymore, it's just how they're feeling. It's how I'm feeling about it. It's how I'm feeling about 5G. I don't want to like 5G, so I don't like it. It's like Brexit. It's like, I don't like facts. Fuck facts. That's how I'm feeling. I'll vote with my feelings. People, politicians especially, have locked onto this whole idea, which is why we have a Trump in the office. It's like people,
Boris.
They're all.
Boris is in hospiel.
Yeah, that's big news.
That's the big news.
Let's come back to that in a second because I wasn't done slagging off nut bars. But people. Well, don't. No, come on. I know you get the point, but I'm just not done talking. Don't pretend like you're just more clever than everybody else. It's like,
no, go on.
I figured this one out a long time ago. Well, all I'm saying is that, finding a way to have discussions in this sort of post-truth, post-fact world we're currently living in, that's the key to how we move forward as a society. It's like, how do you reach these people who just don't care about facts? They don't like facts. Facts are really inconvenient for them. So, how do we have that discussion moving forward? I just don't like facts.
Yeah. Okay. Finished.
Well,
the other funny thing I've just literally seen on the internet is somebody asking again on the local Facebook page if there is a plumber available to help them deal with a blocked toilet emergency, and the first reply is, we would love the opportunity to come out and take a look at your job. It's like, poor choice of words. Okay, carry on.
Well, I kind of feel like that might have been on purpose. A bit of dry British wit.
Oh, poop.
Good old poop jokes. What day is it? I know we've had a lot of wanking and jizz jokes over the last couple of days. We've moved back to poop.
Have you weighed any yet?
Well, no, of course I haven't. It's funny though.
It's funny, this every time I go in the bathroom the scales are out. I keep putting them away and they keep creeping out again.
Yeah, well, you keep hiding them almost like behind the legs of this, like, I don't even know what to call that. It's
That's
like
the old kitchen unit.
A freestanding kitchen unit. I don't even know. How do you wedge the scales in? Because it's really, really hard to get them back out again. Like, you have to twist them and turn them and find them at like the perfect, correct angle to be able to twist them out again. It's a real... Yeah, and you'll be in bed and I'll be trying to do it quietly and get these scales out so that I can see if I'm still losing weight. And it's such a battle. The last time I weighed myself, that was a couple of days ago.
No, I haven't done it again since. So why have you had to get them out every night then?
Well, I haven't. They're just there. But stop putting them away because I'm trying.
Well, stop leaving them out.
No, I'm just saying I'm trying not to wake you up. But every time I have to try and get these,
I'd rather be woken up once in a blue moon than fall over them every day. So,
well, they just need a new place to live.
All right, well, you come up with one.
Okay,
and then they can go and live there.
I know, on top of the toilet.
Why would you
work it out?
So you can weigh your poo.
Hey, she's there. It's funny, we name these episodes that we, upload.
Yeah.
And some of the episodes have semi-funny names.
Yeah.
And they tend to do a little bit better than the ones that don't have funny names.
Yeah.
You can see all the stats and how many people listen to each one.
Yeah.
Well, the one that has the name that says "Don't Weigh Your Poop," like that episode is like the third most downloaded episode.
Yeah.
So there's some insight into our listenership anyway. There's no reason to stop with the jizz wanking and poop jokes because clearly it's right up people's alley.
Yeah.
No, that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do a lame pun, I really want you to support me in it.
Okay. Well, let me know when you do it, because some of them are so lame they don't even register as lame puns.
Right up someone's alley?
Yes.
Nothing?
No.
Okay, never mind. Please continue.
So the other thing I want to talk about, other than Boris, which we'll come back to, is lambs.
Pardon me?
Lambs. Those little, baby sheeps.
Baby sheeps, go ahead. This is out of left field. I wasn't ready for chat about lambs.
No, it's annoying, isn't it, when people spring things on you.
Welcome back to Lamb Chat.
So when you're not around,
oh God,
I don't eat meat.
Oh right, that's where we were going with this.
I don't know where you thought it was going.
Well,
so I'm feeling incredibly guilty that now you are that I am. And one of my friends who runs an animal rescue thing has secured or can secure a number of lambs that would otherwise be heading for slaughter, but will live out the rest of their days in an animal sanctuary. And she's asking for money to cover the cost of transporting these baby lambs to the sanctuaries, which is £30. And I thought, yeah, £30. Is that less or more than you would pay for a whole lamb in the butcher? Question, don't know. What do you think?
Are you hang on.
I'm thinking I'm taking your share of the grocery money, and investing it in lambs that we won't eat.
Oh, right. Because
Yeah.
it sounded for a second like you were pitching the idea that we would
Buying
get
a
a
lamb.
cheap lamb that was going to rescue, which we would then butcher in the backyard to save money on not having to buy a meat pack. Well, that's how you made it sound.
No, that's not what I meant at all.
Well, I don't know. I grew up in New Zealand. We had lambs on the backyard in town all the time, much to the, I'm sure, annoyance of our neighbours. But, you know, every now and again, you know, lambing season's quite a hefty time in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
very
it's
stressful.
what we're right in the middle of now
And
in the UK.
And yeah, you'd often just come home, wake up in the morning, walk out to the kitchen, get a drink from the tap, look out in the backyard. Oh, some lambs. Some lambs in the backyard for no bloody reason. What the hell's going on?
Baby lambs.
Yeah, baby lambs. Yeah, we were always surrounded by everything
Really
off the
bottle
farm.
feeding them.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. But, you know, then they go back to the farm, you know. Once they're strong and healthy, back they go to the farm. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Once they're weaned. So once they're off the bottle and onto grass.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Pet lambs are funny things. When I was back in New Zealand at the start of this year, one of my mum's pet lambs, or one of my nieces and nephews' pet lambs that now lives on the farm, came up to me, had a massive obsession with my jandals.
Yeah.
And kept trying to eat my jandals out from under my feet. And so every step I took and every chance I tried to get away from the sheep was nibbling at my jandals and trying to get my jandals off my feet. But yeah, it was quite hilarious as I wandered away, and all these horses looking over the fence. Oh, what the hell are they doing now? What are they doing over at the weird place? What are they doing? There's a sheep chasing a man around trying to grab him by the jandals. Oh, well, anyway. You can picture it. But yeah, so
I'm wondering if it was the cheesy smell.
So how many?
Wafting off
It's
them.
the rubber.
Sheep cheese.
No, straight up, it's the rubber. So with these lambs, so you're trying to put 30 pounds together to rescue them, because that just sounds like the fuel that goes in the ute to transport the sheep to wherever they're going to dump them off.
Yeah.
So why does she need 30 pounds? Does she not have 30 pounds?
Because there's 21 of them.
So is it 30 pounds a sheep?
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how this rescue scenario works in my head. Like, why are they being rescued? Is she just buying the sheep? And, you know, is she getting in the way of the sale yards or something and just trying to preemptively buy the sheep to
Yeah, I
then
think
send
so.
them to a rescue place?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all very peculiar.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're buying a sheep.
No, I'm donating money and somebody else is buying a sheep and transporting it to a rescue.
With your money?
Yeah.
Do you get to name the sheep that you bought?
No, that's a recurring thing actually, and I did think it was quite funny. That one person in this Facebook post has said they want their lamb to be named Merrill Sheep, which I thought was quite funny.
I suppose that's one way to spend £30 if they...
Name your sheep. What would you call it?
I don't know.
Seeing as it's going to be your £30.
I've seen way too many sheep in my time to bother naming them. You only really name the really friendly ones that always want to come up and get a pat,
Yeah.
and not the skittery ones that run off at the drop of a hat. Yeah, don't worry about naming those ones. Idiots. Bloody bastards. That's what my mum's partner always refers to them as. Bloody bastards. Yeah, because they've broken through a fence, or they've gotten into here, or they've gotten into there. They're mischievous bloody things, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not always the sharpest tacks either. The old sheep. Yeah, but you rescue them. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
I donated a bunch of money for kakapo last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Decided to sponsor, because there's only, at the time there was only 140 kakapo.
Yeah.
And I sponsored one of the kakapo in my grandparents' name,
Yeah.
named Ralph.
Oh, I remember the bird turned up here, the soft teddy thing.
Yeah.
Did you send it back in?
Yeah, I did. It's so ridiculous. So I sponsored this kakapo, and I paid for it with PayPal. And even though on all the documentation and everything, I put my grandparents' address so that they could be sent the little certificate and the little kakapo soft toy.
Yeah.
They bloody sent it here to the UK at some expense. Oh, it's just like, oh man.
And you had to send it back.
I just sent it back to New Zealand again at some expense. But my grandmother loved it, and they loved sponsoring that kakapo. In fact, I imagine that's going to come up for renewal soon, and I have to decide what I'm going to do. Because here I've given all this money to this kakapo but they're incredibly long-lived animals. Did you know? They can live to be like 80 years old. Do I have to give them all this money every single year to sponsor this bloody bastard Ralph, who's not even a breeding bird? He's just stuffing around in the bush, not breeding or helping the species in any way. Just doop-de-doodly-doo around in the bush.
Is he not interested in the female kakapo then?
They have all kinds of issues with kakapo breeding. I mean, the gene pool's so small, a lot of them are sterile anyway, or produce, infertile egg, or have, what do they call them? Lame swimmers. I don't know. There is a term for it.
Slow swimmers.
Yeah.
Low fertility rate.
There is a word for it. Motility? Is that it? Low motility? Is that
mobility?
No, it's motility, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
When you test your little guys and you see who's doing what.
So do they have to wank them off to get them to be able to test them?
I'm not going to lie to you. There's a certain amount of wanking kakapos off. If you want to listen to a really good podcast where they wank some kakapos off, it's called the Kakapo Files. It's called the Kakapo Files, which is a Radio New Zealand series, and you can find it on Spotify or wherever else. And if you can find the episode which is about the sperm copter, it might even be called sperm copter, but if you search for that, then there's some scenes in that episode where they wank off some kakapos and then add the sperm to a drone, which they then fly to a
Can't they just send
waiting
that
female
bald
kakapo.
Cameraman out with the last chance to meet guy, because he got mounted by a kakapo, didn't he?
Well, fun fact about that particular kakapo, he's also...
That's Ralph.
No, that's Sirocco. He's very famous, but he is not a breeding bird.
No,
he's very keen. Gives it a go, but no, he's not.
Firing blanks.
I think so. Yeah, something like that. He's not a breeding bird, but that allows them to use Sirocco. He's a bit of a celebrity in New Zealand. They fly him around the country, and he meets people and gives people a chance to interact with an actual kakapo, and then build up knowledge in the community about this animal and its plight, and
raises their profile.
And funding probably.
Yeah, hopefully.
But kakapos are great.
So what's the difference between raising money for kakapo and Joe Essex and Tiger King? Should there be a kakapo king somewhere? Is there a kakapo king? And what's his backstory?
The kakapo king.
Is that what you do on the side?
No. I'm sure there's somebody out there who probably thinks they're a kakapo king or knows someone like that. But I think with... it's pretty different. I mean, kakapo, it's all about saving habitat and giving them more habitat to be able to go out and populate and building the species up. A lot of the problems with tigers in the wild is that's not happening. I mean, all of their habitat's being destroyed and they're being hunted for their skins and, their penises and whatever else to be churned up into dust to be fed to Chinese people. It's not good. And, one of the big things to come out of Tiger King was that, you've got 10,000 probably poorly bred tigers in the US in cages. You've only got 4,000 tigers living in the wild in the entirety of the rest of the world. And tigers there's so many subspecies of tiger. They very broadly live, through Russia and China and Indonesia and India and, all through Southeast Asia. It's crazy to think that there's only 4,000 left, like that they're in such tremendous
each
peril.
one of them needs 400 square miles in order to survive.
Well, they're all different. I mean, all these subspecies of tigers, they're all different sizes, and they, some of them live on islands, and still, it's crazy. Especially, I think what's happened in Indonesia over the last 30 years is truly, truly sad, because they've just cut down so much virgin forest for palm oil plantations, and there's no ecosystem there anymore, and it doesn't just affect tigers. That's orangutans and sort of all kinds of weird little animals that you'd never heard of in Indonesia, like dwarf rhinoceroses and dwarf hippopotamus and all these other amazing animals. And nobody gives a fuck. It's so sad. It's so sad. And now, Indonesia's in West Papua, tearing down the rainforest there, and it's just Indonesia. You make me so angry. Anyway, Please
Okay.
carry on before I fly off the handle. I'm not
Okay.
feeling well. I
know. So yeah, we said we'd come back and talk about Boris.
Yeah, okay, so I'm still not feeling well. Maybe not well as Boris.
Yeah, Boris has gone into hospital.
There was quite a bit of news, actually, because I was lying in bed last night and doing next to nothing, just not sleeping. And I got a message from New Zealand. I just heard about Boris. So, what? What do you mean you just heard about Boris? What, that he got elected? News does move slowly in New Zealand. But no, they were saying,
he's been hospitalised.
He's just gone to hospital because he went, was it midnight or something ridiculous? It was a silly time of the evening.
So I think I got a news flash thing from the BBC at 9:30.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it was late in the evening, and yeah, off he went to hospital.
Do we know which hospital he went to?
No, it's secret. All we know is that it's a London hospital.
Yeah.
Doesn't really surprise me they wouldn't tell you which one it was. But yeah, you can imagine that it's one of the ones that
has a better success rate.
Yeah, or it's fancy. It's for twats. We'll set this hospital aside for twats. Bring the twats in.
Oh, it's interesting because lots of the private hospitals have donated their ventilators and things to the NHS. So chances are he's in an NHS place rather than a private one. It's probably the first time he's been there without his sleeves rolled up on a press call. But, interesting.
It is interesting because, again, one of my nurse friends has been saying right from the start he doesn't look right. And even with the little Twitter videos that he was releasing over the last week, she's like, he doesn't look right. And she's in hospitals right now dealing with these people and what they're going through. She knows. Mm-hmm. And she can tell by looking at him. And, she just kept saying it. And sure enough, last night, off to hospital. So I think... the word that's been leaking to the media over the last week is that he's more unwell than he's been making out. And it's one of those things where, you're the leader of the country and you're trying to put on a brave face and be strong and, maintain the faith of the people that you can do the job. When really, he may not be very well at all and on the slide. Yeah. So, be interesting to see what happens with him.
Yeah, good luck, Boris.
Yeah, good luck. Next.
Okay. That was it on my list of things to talk about.
Oh, right.
How much longer have we got?
We don't have to crap on for too long. Like I say, I'm not feeling 100%. If I've got it and they have to chuck me into the hospital alongside Boris.
Oh, God, imagine you and Boris in beds next to each other.
Maybe we'd become friends.
Circle jerking.
Oh, come on now. We'd be far too unwell for that sort of carry on. I don't think that sort of service is provided by the NHS. It's a good...
But, it'd be Boris. Boris says,
What? Give us a Dutch rudder. I'll say, no, Boris, we left the EU. You're now in the single market. Yeah, anyway, you were saying?
I don't know. Why are you looking at your phone? Are you trying to find something else to talk about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the veggie box turned up this morning.
Uh-huh.
It didn't have any eggs in it, so I do owe you £5.
Good.
However, I will take it off the money that you owe me for the rest of the food. I'm really annoyed, actually, about the eggs. Well, not annoyed, disappointed, because I could do with some eggs.
Yeah, we could all do with some eggs. It's amazing how they've become like gold dust. Yeah. If
we're feeling brave, we could go up to the farm shop.
Where's that?
On the road between here and the motorway.
Does that require me to drive?
Well, yeah. Or we go in my car and I drive. Yeah.
Well, we know you can't really drive at the moment because you're still buggered.
Well...
the last time that you took a cast off, it took you so long to get back behind the wheel of the car because of the pain that you felt constantly in your leg by having to use your leg to press on the accelerator. You just couldn't do it.
True.
You're showing no faith in my driving ability, by the way.
No, it's not. I'm showing no faith in your car that it will get us there and get us back. That's the thing that I...
Is it that far away?
Concerned about.
If you rang ahead and asked them, do you have eggs, before we went, that might be a different scenario. Okay. Might make it worth the trip.
All right. Well, I don't think we're going to go today.
Well, that's good. It's worth giving me another day to recover and make sure that I'm not getting sick. Tomorrow? Oh, shit.
When are you going back to work?
Maybe? No, maybe it's Wednesday. Maybe I have another day on Wednesday. I remember that the 3 days that I had booked were all close together. Yeah, it's Wednesday. So
okay.
I've got another couple of
Okay,
days.
well, if you're not around on Wednesday, then you don't need eggs. I'm going to have a go at making a egg-free chocolate cake today.
All
So
right.
that will cheer us up. We can talk about dinner. Do you want to talk about dinner?
From last night?
Yeah.
You made a splendiferous sort of roast stew thing
Yeah.
with, well, it was a stew, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, lots of veggies and meat and gravy and the creme de la creme. Dumplings, yeah. So that was exciting. Gluten-free dumplings, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they lacked a little, how do I put this?
Carefully is how you put this.
They were quite crumbly,
Yeah.
but I also didn't care because it was a hearty meal.
They absorbed the gravy. That was the important thing.
Yeah.
They did their job.
And I had my last root beer. I got 3 root beers in that Tesco shop from like 2 weeks ago, and I've been saving them for special occasions. And I thought dinner last night was of such high quality that I would have my root beer with it. So, yeah.
Is this you learning from The Simpsons yesterday with the thing about paying women compliments? Are you taking life lessons from The Simpsons?
Hey, I've said, like, I say nice things about you monthly, so I don't see why.
Not to me, you don't.
I mention you in passing. Like, I'll be at work and they'll be like, how are you spending the lockdown? I said, oh, some bitch. She's all right. We're not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, my going into work may have meant that I've picked up the virus and now I'm on
Brought
the
it
slide.
home. Yeah.
Really hope that's not the case, and there's some other thing. But never mind.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yeah. So veggie box came this morning with without any eggs, but with some ham and with some butter.
Cool.
Because you were out of butter, or you're nearly out of butter.
Yep. Sandwiches. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to eat that bread before it goes off, and there's soup in the fridge that is.
Well, you know what? Today might be the day.
Yeah.
I'm not up to scratch, and there's a bit of chicken soup in the fridge.
Yeah.
A bit of crusty bread, and I'll be good as gold.
Yeah.
Magical cure. Speaking of magical cures, we mentioned that, I was almost insisting that you do a garage swap with one of your neighbours so that you get one of the adjoining garages to your property instead of one that's halfway around the corner, or however you do things in the UK. And we convert that into a sauna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of our Finnish listeners got in touch.
Yeah.
And said that we don't need to do that. You can make a sauna tent. And then sent me instructions on how to make a sauna tent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you need?
A tent.
I've got a tent.
What kind of tent?
I've got a massive tent. Here it is.
Okay.
3-man tent with a porch. And then
Righto.
I've got the awning bit on it as well.
How heat resistant is it?
I don't know.
Because the material of the tent may need to be made out of, something specific. I'm not saying animal hide, but,
You're talking about canvas, kind of old traditional bell tent.
Well,
kind of.
I'm not sure. They sent me instructions. Maybe I need to go through them in finer detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't need to convert a garage at all. And we don't need to spend ludicrous amounts of money to get a sauna put in. We can make a sauna tent.
Yeah.
So thank you, Finland, for continuing to tune in and listen to our tales from the inside here in London and giving us, survival advice and keep us in good health. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Because we are converting every possible space in the garden into places to grow fruit and vegetables, because there won't be any in the shops in 3 months' time.
Because there's no land army to go out and pick them.
Yep.
Well, it's going to be really interesting once the garden's gone through its conversion into a source of produce. I'm looking forward to it. Although I am quite keen on the idea of building a greenhouse. I know you don't see the dream, but I do.
I've ordered a little fabricy, plasticky greenhouse.
Oh, plasticky.
Yeah.
Come on.
As a trial. I don't think we need that much greenhouse space, if I'm honest.
It's just that little sliver down the side of the garden. Your garden is a very peculiar shape, and it shoots off down there. It's this little
but that doesn't get very much sunlight at all.
No, but if it's a greenhouse, it'll be fine. It would be hot in there, I guarantee it. Definitely.
Yeah, but half of it would be hot and in the sun and dry out too quickly.
Have you not
and then
been
the
in a
other-
greenhouse? The whole thing is hot and
Yeah.
moist.
Mm.
They're hot and moist. That is the trick.
You wanted to turn the greenhouse into a sauna?
Well, it would be sauna-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we couldn't tag a sauna onto the side of the greenhouse. I think might be a good thing to do. Actually, one of the things I think we should do is invest in another solar battery to add to the house system.
Yeah.
I'm doing the maths.
Well, I'm spending all my money on buying fruit and vegetables this month, or plants and greenhouses and.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the fact that we may soon no longer be able to get those sorts of bits and pieces from the supermarkets. Well, there's stress and strain being placed on the power systems here in the UK as well, but not in the way that you might think. It's more that the maintenance isn't being maintained, so things can go down and can go wrong. The actual total use of power in the UK during this crisis has gone down by 10%, and it's meant that the amount of green energy being used and utilised in the UK has gone up substantially, and that coal-fired power generation in the UK has actually dipped below 1%. So lots of positives on that front. But there was actually, somewhere in the UK yesterday, they were actually having to pay customers to take the power.
What do you mean?
That was the overflow. So it would have been near one of the wind farms.
Yeah.
And because they were generating electricity, the nature of the contract that exists between the customers and the suppliers is that because they had too much electricity, they actually had to pay the customers to take the electricity off them.
What, and run stuff for the sake of running
it was the first time it's ever happened in the UK. This sort of thing has happened overseas and other places, but it's the first time it happened in the UK. And so... But in terms of transmission, like the chances of blackouts coming in the UK in the months to come, there's a chance of that. So I'm just saying, it might not be the worst idea just to add another little battery cell to the house power, just to, give us another one over the neighbours who we have tension with. They can be envious when we're the only house in the street that's got lights on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating our rotisserie raspberries from the garden. Fine dining, good times. Yeah. Did you watch anything yesterday?
Day was it yesterday? Sunday. Did I watch anything? I don't remember. I watched some Money Heist, but I think I talked about that yesterday. I don't remember anything else. Did we watch any films?
Nah.
No. Did we just watch Money Heist? We watched Money Heist and Simpsons, where you learn how to talk to women and pay them compliments.
Oh, you did watch a movie. You watched the one where that naff Scottish guy runs around trying to save the black president guy from
Angel
guns.
Has Fallen.
Yeah. Oh, see, I wasn't that engaged with that film.
Well, I really enjoyed Olympus Has Fallen, and I saw it around the time that I went to Washington, and then I was really impressed when a couple of years later they did London Has Fallen. Because obviously we live in London, and
you're just excited. You're like,
I
live there.
I enjoyed the
It's
movie, and then the one that they did in London, it was quite interesting seeing bits of London. In fact, at one point,
every other movie,
I'm pretty sure it's in that film. You can see the office where I was based at the time, which is unusual because it's
nondescript.
Yeah, I'm trying to think whether it was that film, whether it was the James Bond, but I don't know. Anyway, it was.
They're all the same. It was probably Spider-Man.
No, it wasn't Spider-Man.
Are you sure? They've all got London in it. London gets destroyed.
I haven't seen the Spider-Man one. So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, get excited because it's got London in it. And
anyway, Angel Has Fallen is the final part of the trilogy, and it's about rather than the fall of the president in a place, it's about the fall of the lead character from the other two films. And I enjoyed it, and you hated it.
So Gerard Depardieu plays the main protagonist.
It's not Gerard Depardieu, it's Gerard Butler, you dickhead.
Okay. And he plays the main protagonist. And he's got to save Will Smith?
No. It was I don't know what the actor's name is. But he's out of the movie for most of the thing, isn't he? It's
Lawrence Fishburne?
No, he's younger and fatter. Go older and thinner.
Shaq?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know. Oh, it's Morgan Freeman.
Yes, him.
Ah.
God from the Bruce Almighty movie.
Look how it's Morgan Freeman. He's massively famous. He's done all these amazing roles. You're like, oh yes. I remember him from when he was God and Bruce Almighty.
And Evan Almighty.
God. I feel so bad for Morgan Freeman. It's like his amazing, illustrious career.
Yeah, not in my lifetime.
Forget the Shawshank Redemption. Do you remember Morgan Freeman from Bruce Almighty?
Was he in the Shawshank Redemption? I've only ever watched that once.
Fuck's sake. Oh shit, that's so funny. Oh, must be unwell. That's absolutely broken me up.
Oh well, is it time to pick up your ukulele and fuck off then?
Yeah, you just have to give the movie a rating and tell people whether or not they should watch it.
Oh, I think you should watch all three, one after the other, in a day.
Okay. There's a lot of shooting and loud noises and not a lot of dialogue. And the dialogue
It
that's
was
in it
scary for the poor little man.
is very masculine.
Yeah.
It's a very masculine movie. It's written by some drongo who dropped out of football academy or something. Like, men like talking like this, guns, brr, explosions. You know, it's a Michael Bay movie without Michael Bay.
I don't know who Michael Bay is.
Oh well, it's probably for the best. Mm-hmm. You'd remember him from such movies as Bruce Almighty or something. So, okay. Right, so you have to give it a score.
7.5.
Wow, that is very high for a movie that's got so little dialogue. And you recommend it?
Yeah.
For
and
children?
The other two.
Recommend
Not
it
for children.
Not for children, no.
I think it's a 15.
There's a lot of exploding skulls.
Yeah.
In the movie. I was quite taken aback by how many like headshots there were and blood splatter from people's brains flying out all over the place. I was like, bloody hell.
It's well done, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Not really my thing, but you know, I was taken aback.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of blowing people up and people being on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were like right into it.
Yeah.
You're like, this is my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're full of surprises. Rightio. Shall we go?
Yeah.
All right, cool, because I need to have a spew. I don't.
A poo?
No.
Poo?
No.
You're going to weigh it?
Well, it's been a few days, so it's probably worthwhile.
What, weighing your poo?
Yeah.
The title of this episode is going to be Why You Should Weigh Your Poo.
No, it isn't. We didn't talk about it nearly enough. We'll have to come up with some amazing... No, what did you say yesterday? No, I wrote this down. This is a direct quote from you, and I thought, could this be the name of the next episode? You said, and I'm quoting you, I need to go make beef smells. That's what you said.
Yeah.
What the hell did you mean?
It was when the beef was cooking. So the beef had been in the oven on a low setting for however long, an hour, and I needed to go and put in the vegetables to add to it. So I was just letting you know, because the house was smelling pleasantly of a nice warm beefy smell from the stewing meat, and I was just letting you know it was going to get worse, or not get worse, get better. There's going to be more of it. So that's why I said I was going to go make beefy smells.
You didn't say that. You said, and I quote you, I need to go make beef smells. Go on, one more time for the people at home. What'd you say?
I need to go make beef smells.